Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Salt Plays Sunless Sea. That is so many. As you can probably hear, it is once again raining here. I just got an alert on my phone for a severe flash flood warning that said don't go anywhere unless you are evacuating. But that's fine. I don't have anywhere to go. So yes, rain in the background. There's been lots of thunder today, so you might hear thunder in the background. Yeah. With that, I never found my crossing out marker. Oh well, I have a different pen I can use. Just to read off our goals really quickly. The Admiralty wants me to go to Polythreme to get the strategic information. The Gracious Widow has sent me to Visage to track down my father's bones. The Postman wants me to take this Lorn Fluke to Nuncio. The Tomb Colonist wants me to take the Shady Sort to Venderbite. The Sigil-ridden Navigator wants to go to the Chapel of Lights. And I also have the Neathbow, which I'm not bothering to write down because it's not something I chase after, really. It's just sort of happens. So with that, let's get going. I think I'm gonna go sort of mid-south, like this row here today. Secrets. The Megalops defeated. With a forlorn and wailing cry, the Megalops turns on its back, legs neatly folded, as bluish blood gouts from its wounds. Its golden glow begins to dim. I'm going to dissect it for knowledge. A crab full of conundrums. You set to work with your knives and acids. It is an undistinguished adolescent specimen, a megalops, of one of the deep-sea crab species, but its eyes, normally vestigial in these troglodytic beasts, are large and rather beautiful. The golden glow is almost gone now, although sparks leap now and then to your knife. That reminds me of, I was at the beach last week to celebrate a friend's birthday, and another of their friends and I found a couple of crabs, dead crabs, because there's dead crabs at the beach, and had great fun looking at how complicated their little faces are. They have like 6 arms next to their mouth. It was super cool. Quaker's Haven. Once, this simple fishing village was part of the London suburbs, before London fell and the waters rushed in. Smoke spirals from cottage chimneys. A lonely hill rises behind town. I'm going to explore the shore. Wander a little way along the shore from the dock. A contest of riddles. Fisherfolk, sailors, a shady couple of likely pirates, and is that a drowny down by the water's edge? They sit round a fire at the sea's edge, passing around a bottle of something viciously? I'm not sure if that's viciously black or viscously black. Probably viciously. They're wagering on riddles. Will you join them? I will. I'm just gonna bet 1 echo on one of the simpler riddles. A whale's eye? The fisherman chuckles and pounds the ground with a fist. City folk, he crows. City folk, pay up. We did not succeed on that one. Then I will chat to the fishermen. They sail the Z around the island. They mend their nets by the harbor. They see all that happens here, but you'll need coin to open their mouths. Little ships and little secrets. Pirates plying the waves. Smugglers at their work. Connate ships putting in to resupply. Nothing dramatic, but enough to interest the Admiralty. I'm not gonna go for drinks or pick up a wretched mog. We'll just head out. I will spend this secret though. Oh, I have to. Okay. In that case, woo. Very bright lightning flash. Okay. Speak with the clattery air. She works with 2 scalpels at a time, or with a scalpel and a tined instrument, pinning open the flesh she's working on. Her operations are brisk and yield very little blood. I'm going to... Okay, I want her to increase my hearts, but I have to invite her to dine with me first. Does she wield a fork the way she wields a surgical instrument? Precise bite sizes. The cooked flesh arrives still in its shell. From the claws, 8 legs, body, and head, she renders a dozen neat bite-sized piles of shredded flesh, sutured with mushroom or pinned together with a needle of chitin. Perhaps she has missed a calling as a chef? She denies it. My mother was the child of a surgeon in the first city. You might say that knife work runs in the family. There's a wicked, quirking smile at the corner of her mouth. Then there are the rumors about my father. She would deny there's any truth in those. Okay, and now I will increase my hearts. The best way to extract a secret is to offer one in return. Exchange. It's a straight trade, one of your best discoveries for one of hers. It's not hard to drive the bargain. She sits back after dinner and tells you this. Most people think that the hard part of surgery is finding what's wrong and taking it out, but any fool could do that. A ship's cook with a cleaver can have that part of the job. The hard part is cutting so you can sew it all back up again afterwards. And she demonstrates on a shark fin, leaving it in a better condition than it had started. All right. Should we fight them? Sure we can. I don't think that this is helping at all, though. Okay, there we go. Death of an angler. The shell is shattered. The glowing Elysiae lie silent. I'm going to dissect it for knowledge. Decapodal mysteries. You and your ship's doctor clamber over the beast as it lies in the lee of your ship. Its blood is a curious blue, and the blood, too, is touched by luminescence. It's a female, but there are no eggs. And what's this? On its belly, someone has chiseled 7 marks between 2 horizontal lines, like pillars supporting a roof. Another secret. So many secrets so early in the game. I mean, I was really surprised by how fast I gained secrets. Like the last episode, no, the last run of my last run, I got like 8 secrets in one voyage. But that's like pretty uncommon. Okay, Demo Island, a fervid forest of fungus. Iron and Misery Company funding station. I&M has a funder operation here, felling giant Beleaga shrooms for building materials, harvesting Kirli for its medicinal properties. It's a desperate little outpost of something like civilization. Up puffs the affable factor. Oh, hello, Captain. Thank God for visitors. We'd go quite mad out here otherwise. Ha ha ha, quite mad. How can we be of assistance? I'm gonna start with a bandaged funder. One of the funding workers is watching your crew, and watching the clattery air especially. What does he want? Whispered confidences. The tomb colonist draws you a little way away from the clattery air. Don't tell her you met me, he says in hoarse rasps. Her mother cut my voice. Hoped to fix it so I wouldn't be able to look for my daughter, so I wouldn't want to. He wheezes. Didn't work. Operations never completely effective. Need to know my daughters well. Happy. Finding enough patience. Getting enough to eat and so forth. In exchange for the simplest news, he explains himself. I'm her father, he says. Ordinary engineer. Not the sort of parent she would want. I'm going to compile a port report. The Admiralty likes to keep an eye on Iron and Misery's activities. Of course, I&M's activities here don't seem that interesting. Nevertheless, record what you can. And then let's explore Demo Island. This always goes badly, which is great. Close crowded thickets of Beleagus and Skirli. The Iron and Misery Company fells them daily, but they grow back almost as fast. The interior of the island is dark and wild. A shadowy predator. It's the little things. The click of a sliding stone where there should be silence. A motion in the shadows, as if they were thick stirred like ink. A lull in the cries of the Z-Bats. Something is watching you, drawing closer hour by hour. You and your crew draw back to back, watching the darkness. So we could watch, or... Okay, let's try... Watch, wait, and end it. It has stealth, but you have rifles. All you need is a clear shot, and you'll earn yourself a trophy. A bad end. One of your crew strays too far from the group. You never know why. You don't know what's happened until you hear him cry out. As your crew rushes to assist, there's another cry from behind you. Another Zaylor vanishes into the darkness. You glimpse a writhing coil of limbs and the glitter of eyes, and the beast is gone. The beasts. There must be at least 2 of them. Who knows how many more? You retreat with haste to the ship, eyes wide, though you see nothing more of the predators. Perhaps their hunger is satisfied. Let's try to gather supplies. I'm sure this can't go badly. Some of the island's fungus is good to eat. Some is poisonous, hallucinogenic, or mischievous. Good luck. 60% chance of success. You were fortunate. Gained 1 supplies. I'm going to see if I do the thing where we just sort of dance in the harbor until we get more, another something awaits you. If I can get another crew. Oh, I should deal with this. Restless nights. In the watches of the night, you pad softly past the hatch to the crew quarters. My headphones are making strange noises. Just a second. Okay. In the watches of the night, you pad softly past the hatch to the crew quarters. A man cries out softly in his sleep, desperately. Another. I'm going to ignore them. The captain can't be seen to take these things seriously. Silence at the breakfast table. The crew is subdued as they take their meals, but all is quiet in the next watch. Then I'm gonna go a little bit closer to the shore. That did not help me lose terror. Come on. Surely something is awaiting me by now. There we go. Gonna go all the way around. Oh, I'm still backing up. Okay. Accept a volunteer. One of the company's Malikas fellows has negotiated an early release from her contract. It's the sproutling, she tells you, her face pleading. I keep picking them out of my porridge, and my hair, and my eyes. Take me away. I'm a good worker. Signing up. You pay the release fee to the factor, and your new Zailer settles in. Ready to Zail now? I'm going to tell her... Oh, I can't. Okay. Oh, but I do have a secret. Okay. I guess I need a strange catch to speak with her much further. Alright, off this way. Right, there's like no map. I forgot. The Bonnie Reefs is some distance to the northwest. Is that just a... Oh. Continuing to have problems. Death of an angler. The shell is shattered. The glowing Elysiae lies silent. Once again, I'm going to dissect it for knowledge. This is the same thing that it was last time, so I'm not going to read that all. I think that if crab cake is here, then this should be pigment, right? Yes. Jellyfleur's End. The Jellyfleur. Is it a young jellyfish? A lesser subspecies? Do the dreams of jellyfish become real? In any case, now it's a sad slick of goo dissolving into the Z. I'm going to let it disperse. Watch its oil rainbow colors fade. A face? From above, the jellyfish's cap does look a little like a woman's face. She dissolves like smeared paint. I have time to do Pigmode Isle in this episode. More secrets. I'll take care of that before I start in all the... Okay. Officers. Yeah, hearts is still my priority of the things that I can increase. Okay. Story. Pigmote. Oh. Pigmote Isle. 2 houses, both alike in dignity. Since we did this last time, I'm going to tell you what my plan is this time. I'm going to go for the cavies and then help the rats do a coup. I just like the rats better. On a lonely desert beach, there is no habitation in sight, no market, only an old rotting dock. A stretch of sand thickens into damp black earth from which sprout stunted palms? Not quite. Tall fungal growths with frond-like caps, as if someone had sculpted the idea of a tree from a mushroom. Disembark. See what awaits you. War? As you step onto the quay, you hear clamor, shouts, and shooting. You can see off in the distance smoke rising from beyond the hill, and dots of fire flecking the horizon. 2 tiny figures stand a little further down the quay, unmoving, as if awaiting your approach. A literary interlude. The following is an extract from the popular Diary of a Z Captain from London to Irem and what we did there before we arrived, washed ashore on Mutton Island, and subsequently serialized in the unexpurgated Gazette. The author's identity remains unknown. The Tale of Pigmote Isle, in which a delegation is made, a choice is presented, war is declared, a most singular treasure is sought by all, and a new empire is founded with tooth and claw. Chapter 1. The Delegation. The figures were rodents. To my left was a Ratus Faber wearing goggles, a blacksmith's apron, and an assortment of tools. To my right... To my right, an unusually large guinea pig, wearing a helmet and breastplate reminiscent of nothing so much as the High Middle Ages. The rat stepped forward first and bowed. Welcome, Captain, to Rat Star Island. I am Edgar, Second Chief Engineer of the 3rd Rat Brigade. I invite you to avail yourself of food and fuel at our expense. The only cost to you is a choice. The rat stepped back. At precisely the same moment, with what appeared to be the ease of a long habit, the guinea pig scuttled forward and made a declamatory chirp. Welcome, Captain, to the Isle of Cavia. I am Lady Augusta Devereux Swinch of the Blackwater Swinches, Seneschal to our King Gracenaw, first of his name. I invite you to avail yourself of food and fuel at our expense. The only cost to you is a choice. The 2 stood at attention, looking at me expectantly. I'm gonna read all of the things, I think. I know I've done this before. Feel free to skip around if you aren't interested in hearing the story of Pigmote Isle again, but I like reading out loud. That's why I'm doing this, so I'm gonna do it. I spoke to the chief engineer. His eyes had a wave-cold glint to them, and he wore his scars like jewels. A rat in the making. I asked the chief engineer to elaborate. He looked at me for a long, measured moment before speaking gruffly. We came to this island to make a home for ourselves away from London, its cats and snuffers, its rat-skin suits. We came to live as citizens of our own republic. We came with our tools, our teeth, our clever hands, and we made a beautiful city by the light of the rat star that shone bright and blue on Mount Ararat. The chief engineer nodded towards the distant hill. One day, we braved the depths of the chicken woods, and from the top of Mount Ararat we plucked the rat star to to be our light, our beacon. But the pigs of Cavi saw the light, and they lusted for it. They sent armies to rule us and steal our star. We will not permit them to take what is ours. We will resist to our last breath. Will you join us in defeating them?" I spoke to the seneschal. How did an armored guinea pig manage to look regal? A knight out of habit. The seneschal cleared her throat with a delicacy to rival the duchess's own before speaking. "Gracenaw the king, our lord and sovereign, full 7 months has sojourned on the sea, conquered this land, and won the southern main. Now no fortress against him shall remain. No city walls will be left for him to gain, save the rats that squeak behind the mountain. Unlikely was the lamb of our deliverance. Assured shall be our glories and their fall, when Our Lady's eye restored be to our hall." The seneschal composed herself, then added, "We saw a truth and beauty by the light of Our Lady's eye on Mount Caveat, but the rats, with their guns and their chatter and their peasants' politics, stole it from us. We will subjugate them and take it back. They are a rabble, and we will rule them with the steel-shod velvet of our paws. Will you join us?" Yes. Sorry, that buzzing you might have just heard was another flash flood warning. I got that 30 minutes ago. Why am I getting it again? Okay. I had heard more than enough. I was ready to make my choice. I favored the seneschal. Chapter 2, Alike in Dignity. As you can well imagine, I faced quite a dilemma. Their red eyes stared up at me, waiting for my choice. I favored the seneschal. Was it her charm, or a fondness for London's rat-skin coats that swayed me? Perhaps a little of both. At any rate, I was keen to find out more about their civilization. A friend to cabbies. I bowed to the seneschal, who purred with pleasure while the chief engineer gnashed his teeth, but kept his distance. "You have chosen wisely, Captain," said the seneschal. "Come, and I will explain our situation to you in greater detail." Chapter 3, A Night Out of Habit. The seneschal led me to the southern side of the island, skirting the chicken woods. We passed through a number of raised mounds of earth mixed with fortifying strips of mushroom flesh, which I supposed to be makeshift walls. The settlement was dazzling. This side of the island appeared to be absolutely wreathed in scintillac. The cabby's dwelling was awash with silver phosphorescence. It was a large colony. Most notable was the steam pinnace, the impossible lamb that had run aground, from which cabbies came and went, bearing supplies. To the right of the ship, farther down the beach, a large group of cabbies lay on bundles of colorful cloth, whining and wailing as if in pain. To the left of the ship was a ramshackle tent of poles and linen, in front of which guinea pigs clashed against each other and sharpened their teeth. In the center of the village was a covered dais, veritably festooned with colorful cloth and guarded by well-decorated knights. I suspected this was where King Gracenaw kept counsel. "Be welcome, Captain, in the kingdom of Cavia, capital of our isle, and blessed by the light of Our Lady's eye." The seneschal spoke solemnly, but with a hint of sadness to her words. "Or so it was, and shall be again. I must speak with our king and prepare your arrival. My page will show you the area, and bring you in sight of his splendor in good time. Page!" A much smaller guinea pig, its fur braided with a slender... A much smaller guinea pig, its fur braided with a slender strip of parabola linen, scurried over and bowed. The seneschal took her leave. I visited the hospital. Were those guinea pigs quarantined? The Black Death. An elderly-looking cabby greeted me, eyeing me gravely. "Many of us sickened during the voyage, a rotting in our teeth, a weakness in the flesh. The isle was our salvation. The stronger among us made a pilgrimage towards the pool of Our Lady's light, and then, miracle of miracles, they were cured. They bathed in her, they drank her sweet waters, and the strong brought the weak to her in turn. Soon we were thriving again, bearing our children and raising them to love Our Lady's eye and see in it our deliverance." The elder looked sorrowfully at the sick under his care. "Since the rat stole her, the sickness has returned. All this light is but a mockery of hers, and we gain from it no benefit. The only thing, the elder's ears and voice flattened in a hiss, that helps our condition is the flesh, the very hearts and livers of the rats who stole her from us. I already read all that. Alright, I visited the steam pinnace on the beach. Was this indeed the impossible lamb? Wasn't it reported overrun by rats? A chalky shore. The page chittered while I inspected the vessel. Rats? Never! The splendor of Cavia overtook this vessel. I was born here, the very first native of Cavia, but all our elders remember the voyage. It was hard, they say, but we were harder. But the sea is black and unkind. We were lost in the dark for weeks, and no one speaks of those terrible times. But out of the darkness came the light of Our Lady's eye, guiding us here to our own isle. In time we will ride the waves again, perhaps, once we've recovered our eye. Is it not splendid? It certainly may have been at one time, but I could see the hull had been severely damaged by the Scintillac reef. There was no way the cabbies could hope to repair it themselves. Whatever the page said, they were stranded here. I visited the barracks. What chance could guinea pigs stand against the weaponed might of the Rattus Faber? Evening the odds, the page led me to the barracks, where the knights didn't deign to speak to one so undecorated as I. The page, however, was eager to answer my questions. The rats have no weapons, none to speak of. What is a gun without a bullet, a sword without a blade? Ours are the supplies, the knives, the soft stuffs, and the glory. Their teeth are sharp, it is true, while ours— the page hesitated as the knights glowered at him— are sharper. All praise the flowers of the house of All praise to the flowers of the house of Cavie. One knight preened while another grunted indifference, working a whetstone along its top front teeth. As I watched, a particularly vigorous swipe knocked a whole incisor out of place. It landed on the ground in a black and bloody mess. The knight gasped, grasped the tooth, and vanished from sight. Another glared in a way that dared me to make something of it. Do guinea pigs get scurvy? I've got to look this up. Sorry. Pausing for a second. Do guinea pigs get scurvy? Unlike most animals, guinea pigs are unable to synthesize their own vitamin C and rely on ingesting vitamin C in their diet. So yes, I bet that these guys have scurvy. Anyways, Okay, I had seen enough. It was time for my audience with the king. The page led me, crouching at first, and then on my knees, before King Gracenon the Seneschal. The king was the largest guinea pig I had ever seen, easily twice the size of the largest knight in his retinue. The Seneschal looked positively dainty next to him. "We are told," intoned the king, "that you have promised your assistance to the house of Cavie. This is agreeable to us. But what form shall your assistance take?" So we can either retrieve it by force or by cunning. Let's go by force. I offered to retrieve the lady's eye by force. I had guns, I had a boat. I planned to row a raiding party to the northern side of the island, where the Cavies could flank the rats' settlement. Oh, excuse me. A question of timing. I gave clear orders. My navigation was impeccable, but it seemed that the rats manning the front lines were able to signal the settlement about our attack and keep the Cavies busy for long enough. The chief engineer succeeded in rallying his troops into defensive maneuvers and made it impossible for us to set foot on the beach. I watched helplessly as the cabbies that managed to make it to the settlement fell, singly and in groups, to the ruthless efficiency of the rats. The chief engineer, in turn, watched me and my crew while he instructed his fellows in setting cabby heads on pikes and parading them along the shore. Let's try one more time. Come on, RNG, give this to me. A perfect pincer. My plan succeeded brilliantly. It was easy enough to sneak up on the settlement when the stolen eye gave off such light and cast such shadows around the shore. Even easier to do what needed to be done when the cabbies were rallied by the sight of their treasure. What follows was a tremendous rout. Rats ripped apart, throats and bellies torn open, viscera slickening the sand. The cabbies took losses too, but soon the seneschal declared the day won. I was rewarded with a substantial amount of scintillac. I saw, to my surprise, that the cabbies had spared a number of the rats' children, and were rounding them up. I commented favorably on this, praising the seneschal's high-minded mercy. The seneschal chittered pleasantly. "My dear captain, be assured that we shall treat them very well, but it is hardly mercy that motivates the preservation of an enemy's livestock." A small rat wept bitterly over a parent's severed torso before being prodded and pressed into a march. Well. The Chapter 5, A Nation Rises. The rats were defeated. Cavia was triumphant. All that remained were the celebrations and the continuation of our voyage. Oh, how we feasted long into the night. Then I invited one of the cabbies to join us. They were reputed to be excellent swimmers, adorable enough to boost morale. And if time should become lean, I thought maybe a guinea pig stew would buy the crew a day or two before they started eating each other. Welcome aboard. The seneschal, of course, couldn't abandon her duties, but she made certain my request was cried out in the village square. The page squeaked excitedly and sought permission from her to join my party. "I will record your doings for the glory of Cabby," he declared, "and I'd like to see more of the world." I waited for him to gather up some effects and say goodbye to his family before lifting anchor and setting off. Gonna see what this does. I spoke up on behalf of the rats. The survivors were being treated poorly, but the rift did not seem entirely insurmountable. The spoils of war. I appealed to the house of Cabby's grace and good breeding, and praised King Gracenaw's magnanimity. Perhaps the rats knew not what they did in stealing the eye. Perhaps they were only stumbling about in the dark for a light, as the cabbies were themselves while lost at sea. The seneschal and the king exchanged a look. The seneschal murmured something in the king's ear, and he growled deep in his throat. "You saw only the front tip of our suffering, Captain. The rats must answer for every drop of noble blood spilt, and in kind. We will require a great many hearts and livers to repair the health of our great kingdom. Our young shall eat their old, as is meet." The king's courtiers chittered appreciatively at his wordplay, while the knights separated the screaming young rats from the adults who had given up trying to fight. Yikes. All right, the wide, dark Z beckoned. We had eaten our fill, and our business was concluded. It was time to continue our voyage and see what other wonders and terrors still awaited us. The end. There. You finish your diary entry and the final morsels of delicious rat flesh. The cabbies line up to salute you as you leave the victory banquet, escorting you to your ship through the foundations of their new kingdom. Horrible. Okay. I'm going to visit the rat ghetto. The House of Cabby has not been gracious in victory. The cabbies have forced their rivals into the swamps and hold them there with a high spiked wall. Thick black mud squelches underfoot as you pass through the guarded gates. Hungry eyes watch your approach. So we can either smuggle fuel into the ghetto, the rats huddle for heat, clinging tight to scraps of stolen blankets, which will improve Pigmoat Isle's spirit, attempt to broker a union, or assist the rodent revolution. I'm going to do this one since it seems like I can't do it if I do any of the other two. Assist the rodent revolution. Outsider, grant us your strength. When our enemies lie humiliated, we will give you the rat star. A sneak attack. You lead a carefully chosen pack of rats through the chicken woods. The bigger ones wield weapons provided by the quartermaster. The smaller ones use their teeth to savage the throats of any cavi guards in your path. The rat star is soon won, and, as agreed, yours. In return, the rats keep your guns to continue their fight. Your part in this is done, but it is unlikely that you will but it is unlikely that you will be welcome back here anytime soon. We've been banished from Pigmout Isle. Interesting. Oh, and they'll... Interesting. Exiled from Pigmout Isle. The gates of the port are closed. Your welcome has been rescinded. Alright, I will leave that there for now, especially because it's really time for me to split an episode. So thank you for watching this, the 40th episode of Salt Plays Sunless Sea. See you later.